or as we look at yesterday and the stats, first off is that eUnited faltered just a bit more. You know, they did not win all their series. They dropped more games than expected. Even just getting into this round 2, they won 3-1 against G1.
Yeah.
So not as dominant or convincing of a fashion going into this next match against Optic. And then when you look at the individual player stats, yes, some of this can be skewed based on if you're playing some teams that are lower in your pool or maybe some more gimme matches, which is a really tough thing to say at this high level of play. Yeah. But every member of Optic are having higher KDs than they were in the Thursday Pro Series, whereas only 2 members of eUnited have a higher KD than they were through those Thursday Pro Series.
Well, here we go, folks. Optic versus eUnited in the upper bracket, winners round 2 matchup, best of 5 as well, so we'll see what we're gonna get out of this here from 2 very prolific squads in the game right now. And we are, of course, taking a look at TriPPPeY's POV. TriPPPeY has been so fantastic throughout this tournament, hoping to continue to add on to it there. But the Mangler does manage to do the job and get it done. Also does find a few more targets to boot as well. Now, the name of the game is going to be Oddball, right? So you got to get possession of the ball, map control, and you got to work with your teammates to score as many points as possible across 2 rounds. And unfortunate for TriPPPeY, but he did a lot of work over there to try and handle over by Yellow Pipes.
Yeah, TriPPPeY did more than enough there, but their team is not able to transition that really into any sort of control and getting the ball out. Even more so than what TriPPPeY had going on, we saw APG putting up 3 kills. In fact, acquiring the first 2 kills for the Optic gaming side.
Yeah, and I think that now, as Optic looks for their openings, look for those opportunities to grab the ball, they finally have been able to obtain that. Whether or not they're going to be able to get a good setup with this, you know, is the question. But I mean, looking at what we got here, this is pretty solid so far, Walsh.
Great position now, but the true test is coming through at this moment as we see these couple members of eUnited pushing in through glass, a couple pushing over through control. They're taking this time with this push from eUnited, so they really have to make this work. A lot of times these teams opt to try to make more pushes a little bit faster, just a little less structured, but eUnited really took their time with that one, and look at these snipes coming out of Lucid, maybe putting a shutdown to this.
Oh, Lucid with a nasty double kill, zapping him right in the face. Oh, but that was just disgusting.
That's one of the downsides or difficulties of taking too much time with one of your pushes, because these players are so good and play at such a high level that sometimes just a miraculous play, whether it's a sticky grenade or a headshot from the shock rifle, can shut down one of those pushes. And that's why you want to, in many other instances, just give your team more opportunities to push instead of saying, all right, we need to make the one perfect push. Let's take those extra 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, like it's very clear that they had like they figured, hey, we have a lot of time, so we could take advantage of this and then go and push in together as a unit, right? But Optic were so prepared for that. They knew where it was going to be coming from. You could tell they had Pistola on the response immediately, and then it also helps too when, you know, you got shock rifle plays from Lucid like that.
And second time again, we once see eUnited making this push. They like to go from control and from glass. You see they send players from both angles, and I love that repulse from Lucid. That player going in for that melee trade, and Lucid saying, nah, I don't want to trade right now. I'm just going to get the kill.
Well, that push, that coordinated push from eUnited ended up working out in their favor, as now they're going to start to add some time to the clock here, or to the score rather, as the clock continues to tick forward. They got a good position, but they are getting pressured from Whirlpool, and that's going to be a point of contention that eUnited's going to have to handle. Lucid doing some work over by batteries, but there was a lot of effort done by Walsh, and that's why they got the ball.
Yeah, the damage had been done. I mean, even though Lucid didn't hit that shot, they had killed 3 members of eUnited, so we see these differences in setups. Optic, they get the ball and they hold it for 20 to 30 points before their setup is challenged. Whereas eUnited, they get the ball and Optic is in their face immediately.
Yeah, they got the ball and they were like, great, let's go ahead and add some time to the clock. And then they got 8 seconds and it was like, oh, well, that sucks. And that's the situation they find themselves in. Great save as well. Beautiful double kill there from APG. Man has been absolutely clinical. Rayne looking for the challenge. Ain't gonna happen. Triple kill, killing spree for a pure gangster. Love to see it.
And he's even grabbing the objective on top of it. Not even getting greedy, going immediately for that overkill like we would see from so many other, let's say, younger or inexperienced players. APG doing everything his team needs.
Smart play ball there as the challenge was coming in from Rayne. 3 kills are going to be registered there. Actually, maybe 4, I think. Maybe Lucid was the last one up. But regardless of the fact, though, this is going to be a ball reset. The damage has been done. 11 points remaining for Optic to walk away with the first round win here in Oddball. Good support, though, from KingNick as they continue to patrol around. They have an idea and inclination as to where these players are going to be, and the Camo player is going to be kind of instrumental in handling this. Along with that Mangler, they're going to shut down a few more. That melee is always going to be welcome. That's a triple kill for KingNick. Shut down finally, though, by Pistola, who's got height over by Tower, but a great play to establish control. eUnited now have the ball. Let's see how Optic Gaming can crack this egg.
And look at Ola, even being the last one alive, getting a couple kills, and still just holding down this area at top control, realizing it's such a strong, powerful position. The reason top control is so powerful, Ola, is because it takes somebody coming up from lower, where they have a height disadvantage when they're trying to attack Ola, and he just has escape routes.
Yeah.
You give Ola that window, he can jump out the front if someone's coming from behind. If someone's out in the center of the map, he can lay down a couple shots. He gets to dictate the pace of so many different fights.
And that's what's really annoying about playing against Pistola, right? Because he always has that escape route, that opportunity to make a play happen. But on the flip side of that, though, I mean, you know, praising a lot of what Optic has been doing, eUnited, they're looking to try and make this one into a round here. Everything that they possibly can to hold on to this ball, back elevator, and so far it is working. Optic is going to start to challenge coming from Hydro. Rayne is aware of this. They have the cross from Spartan as well. Rayne, if he can't get to safety, and maybe they could take advantage of that Mangler if they have possession of it, which why wouldn't you at this point in the game? Spartan, though, had to get shut down by TriPPPeY over by the distance. A big nade could have actually stuck there. Doesn't work out. 3 players focusing on Hydro. RyaNoob's got a lot of work ahead of him, and that's just a smart play to get out of there.
I like it. Yeah, you don't need to fight to the death there in that instance when you're outnumbered and outgunned. Instead, reposition and fight another day and try to get that last push in, but unfortunately it does not work out. Optic wisely grabs the ball, closes out round 1 of Oddball, putting them up 1-0.
Yeah, and you know, one could say like, yeah, you know, I mean, they didn't really have a lot of time to work with there, but no matter what, like RyaNoob, if he had taken 3 members of Optic with the battle rifle, like he was going to die. So there was not really much he could do there. They got to shake that one off and focus on this next round. Lucid, though, with another camo grab.
Yeah, 2 times here we saw it going in the hands of TriPPPeY at the round 1 last time, and then this time on the flip side where they're spawning on the opposite side of the map. Lucid and Optic acquire the camo. Just seems like Optic starts are a little bit better.
Smart play here from Lucid. Doesn't go for the shot because he had the camouflage teammate there to back him up. It's APG, sees exactly where Spartan is. He'll let his teammate handle that business. And so far, I mean, this has just been a great display here from Optic, and there's Lucid just toying with the sandbox again.
It's also been the APG show at the start of these rounds. There's been so many times where us as casters or even the fans out there, we continue to pinpoint like, oh, look at Lucid and TriPPPeY going off, getting all these kills. But
yeah.
all these members have the ability too. I mean, it just has this natural tendency for someone like Ola or APG to be in a more of a supporting role, but they can step up at any moment and be the main slayer.
Yeah, and what's great for Optic in this case too, right, is like how the round has kind of progressed. Their start was clean. They were able to get some results out of that. But, you know, now it's time for the reset, right? You got to look forward here. That ball's going to be located lower elevator, and Spartan has to help out his squad mate here. He has to hold this door with the shock rifle. You're going to get a few clean shots out of that. Maybe a headshot would be huge for them. But it seems like this pressure from Optic Gaming, there you go. That's exactly what Spartan was hoping that he could get with that weapon. And he was able to make it happen cleanly, though. APG, another brilliant challenge out of him. That's going to be a 6th in this round.
6 kills for APG, 6 kills for all of APG's teammates combined at the moment. So he is just putting work here. And we have a tied game at the moment, though. So it's not really like we're seeing this runaway that we saw previously from Optic, where they got the first camo, they got the first kills, they got the ball set up shortly after that initial engagement. Instead, this one's just a little back and forth, and I want to see how this plays, if this plays more in eUnited's favor, where things get to slow down a bit, or if they're hoping to get more chaotic situations, because it felt like a really like slow, structured, pushing game that last round. It felt like eUnited were like, all right, well, we're going to take our time, do this push, and I feel like eUnited, as we heard in eUnited's interview with KingNick, he's saying our playstyle catches teams off. We feel like we can play this chaotic or kind of annoying style that, you know, someone like RyaNoob is well known for.
Well, yeah, because they have the Slayers to be able to compensate for that, which, you know, when you think of big-time slayers in games, one player should come to your mind, and that's Spartan McFly. And I would imagine that when he is frying, it is dangerous for any other team to try and match up against him because the confidence he has for so many shots. And look at Pistola there doing everything he could to just try and stay alive there, keep the drive alive here in tower. And KingNick knew he needed to shut that down. So eUnited have possession of the ball again. They're looking to tie this one up here. And let's see how Optic are going to try and force this push. They've had a lot of success in the Whirlpool pushes where they kind of catch that tower player off guard and then they focus on the Whirlpool push. And I think eUnited might be wise to that now.
Oh, and what a great grapple out from KingNick. Those little poke outs like that can just be so unexpected. And it's such great timing too. As the pressure is coming in on the eUnited setup, there's a moment there where he says, all right, well, most of these people have probably already pushed in towards Turbine, or most of these players are already pushed in towards Control, and you can actually go out to the center of the map, and what is generally an exposed and dangerous area is now a safe spot as people are entering these corridors.
Even this moment here, Walsh, has been quite interesting because Optic thought that they could take that ball and bring it over to Whirlpool and transition over to the pipes. But while that was going on, there were still bodies left to be handled in eUnited. That's why the ball's going to be dead in Whirl.
Can I point out something with Rayne right now, too? I love how his photo right behind is like Rayne, like almost poking out behind, like, hey. Like,
yeah. It's like,
I can't wait till we go to his picture-in-picture again. Just look at Rayne's again. It's just like Rayne is sitting over the side of his chair, his own chair, just pointing out and kind of photobombing himself.
Yeah, you know, he's big up in himself, you know what I mean? Who else going to have you back other than yourself, right? Now, though,
and he's photobombing on Spartans as well.
Yeah, Rayne just photobombs everywhere. And also RyaNoob's picture, too, right? Like, that's another fun photobomb. Well, look at this here, Dave. We're getting dangerously close for eUnited to be able to take this lead. Now, your eyes don't deceive you. You see a 1-1 down low in the bottom of the screen. That's just a glitch, so don't worry about that. It is going to be 1-0 in favor of Optic. eUnited looking to tie up this round here in Oddball. Jeez. Oh, that is unfortunate. I mean, the way that he flew out there.
I was just going to say, yeah, hitting those mangler shots were a little tougher there, given that trippy movement. You saw just how fast he was sliding in and going up those stairs and up those rails.
All right, you got a few members of eUnited, long haul, tower side, pushing out to the yellow pipes and top yellow, top glass. I guess a great area to hold down and force. Don't give Pistola an opportunity to breathe here and an angle to work with. That ball's still going to be in play right by batteries. You got a minute left on the clock. Right now, the onus is on eUnited to go after that objective and gain possession of it. If not, the round will end and Optic walks away with a Game 1 victory.
Yep, Optic are fine just to trade slays here. With the ball being out in the center near batteries, they want to punish them. They want to get a free kill at some point. And they realize that eUnited are too smart. They're not just going to dive around the ball. That's why you don't see someone like Ola looking at the oddball right now. He is looking over at Control. He's looking all the way towards long haul. He says, where are they going to push in on us to get kills before they grab this oddball?
I mean, Pistola's been back here and no one's been looking at him because there have been other targets that they have to worry about. And then here comes Pistola getting himself 1 or 2 kills. Like, that is just the effectiveness of this player. But hopefully eUnited with RyaNoob in the sword can actually start to put some points on the board. And they need it now because time is ticking.
Finally their opportunity. They got 2 members of Optic down. That's 3. They know where the last player is. And they have the oddball across the map. And they have Camo and sword in the hands of RyaNoob. This is going to be a tie oddball game here in round number 2.
Wait, not just yet though. You got 13 seconds left, 47-48. It would still be an Optic win here if they don't grab the ball, which they finally have been able to do so, but now it's going to be tied. 5 seconds remaining. Ball's going to be located long haul. Is anyone there to be able to grab it? Yes, they are. 49-48 now. Can anyone from Optic obtain it? No, they cannot. It was a 1-point differential, and eUnited tied things up here. Game 1, Oddball Recharge.
So smart and so patient. Even with their backs against the wall, eUnited played that so well, making sure they got the kills and then got the oddball. They did things in the correct order.
Got a little dicey for a moment there if you're an eUnited fan. It's been quite the weekend for the red, white, and blue.
One thing that's interesting as well is last couple rounds, we saw Optic make plays to grab that camo right away. This time they opt for a more passive start. And I wonder if that's just part of the mind games here going on, Golden Boy, as they're saying, well, if we grab the camo last couple times, they're going to expect it. Do not jump out and get this free death. So we'll have to see if that is, I'd love to hear from Coach Lunchbox and Optic Squad later if that's part of their mindset during these, or if they're just like, nah, we just kind of, you know, do a couple different starts, or if we see somebody over here, we realize camo's safe versus it's not being safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of on-the-fly decision-making that needs to be made, right? Which is what's always impressed me so much about Halo players, because this is not a traditional type of game. Yes, in other esports, you have to make those micro and macro decisions, but Halo is just ever-changing, ever-turning. It's always chaotic, and it may not seem like it, but what's even more impressive is how the players have a grasp of what's going on at all times, because of the familiarity with the game. Like, it's just like walking and running to them. It's natural.
Yes, it is. These players are so smart and so strong throughout this game. And I do agree with you in that sense, where it does feel like in Halo compared to many other games, especially when you have like one life round games, that you first off get more opportunities to make decisions and or mistakes. And that's why Halo is such a cumulative game, where it's an addition of all those great ideas and plays you make, and, you know, the subtraction of all those mistakes you're making.
Yeah, before you know it, every error that comes up, every small little detail can cost you. I mean, even just like the way that the start of this round went, eUnited just have not been able to get anything going. Look at the scoreboard on eUnited. They have 3 kills between the 4 of them, 3 kills between 4 players, and we're at 62 points for Optic Gaming. What a hot start for the Green Wall to just shut down eUnited.
Yeah, 3 of them dead again. Rayne, the only member alive, and we saw the patience from eUnited in the first round. That patience is going to be running thin as this time is ticking down, so they have to make one great push right here, get a bunch of kills, and get some sort of points on the board. And that gets shut down right away by TriPPPeY. He's running away and repulsing away from aim grenades.
And you're not going to challenge. Oh, I was going to say, there's no shot you challenge that around the corner when he has a sword, but he was one shot. So at least they were able to pick up a few more kills there. But my goodness, Dave, is the damage already done? The ball's going to be located in no man's land, and eUnited have been able to obtain it. So maybe, just maybe, they could fight back here and bring this game back. That, at least the new rules of Oddball allow them to do so.
Yeah, but one thing I saw in this kill feed was that TriPPPeY secured a first kill. Lucid now has a second, and this setup is just broken. That first kill is generally the very most important as you're trying to break some sort of setup. As soon as your team knows you're like in a 4-on-3 and one player's holding the ball, it's like, well, it's a 4-on-2 or it's a 4-on-3. Fly across the map.
Oh, that was an unfortunate series of sticks that happened there with those grenades. Lucid was a little disappointed with that one. You can see it in the picture-in-picture. Interesting kill there for RyaNoob. Maybe he can try and build something off of that. TriPPPeY kind of caught between a rock and a hard place there as well. Another smart, crafty play from Pistola as the challenge actually is going to come through. RyaNoob versus Pistola. Pistola's going to win that fight outright. The ball's been obtained. You only got a few more points here for Optic Gaming before they walk away with this Game 1 win.
One thing that's interesting to me when Optic are holding this A setup is they seem to have control of the pipe still, whereas most teams, they get just cornered all the way in this elevator, and they don't have access to that. The opposing team generally does.
Clean.
So they just did such a strong job of controlling A, but not just A, controlling the pipes, using that as an escape route. You saw it with TriPPPeY running over there with a sword. You saw it later in that round with Ola just running away towards those pipes. Using that as a dangerous spot, but somehow Optic know when they have it safe, or they just keep it under control while they have A.
Which is kind of scary and very impressive, because having an escape route on Recharge, which is not a very easy thing to do, is quite impressive for Optic Gaming there, and also kind of speaks to the way that they were controlling eUnited completely in that game. And just look at the start in round 3 after eUnited walks away with a very close, you know, booty clenching round 2 win, 49-48. The start from Optic is as hot as ever. They just shut them down completely. We were at 70 points in the scoreboard before eUnited were able to get their 4th kill.
Yeah, I believe it was like KingNick still was not able to secure a kill at that point. I mean, you don't really have that many options. You have like, what, a couple pushes. He had 2 or 3 deaths at that moment, and it's just like, well, like, not much you can do. You can, sure, you can charge out and try to force something, but like, that's not the high percentage play. You need to wait for your teammates.
Whew. Spartan, though. Clean shots from him. That's the thing. When they are slaying eUnited, they are one of the best teams in the game. But, you know, it is... I want to say it's easy because it's not easy, but you know, when you get them playing off of the back foot, as is commonly happens in Halo, being able to bounce back, that is always going to be the big challenge here, man. I thought if TriPPPeY had gotten the sword kill there, that would have been just wild, but I'm almost certain he saw the sword glowing around the corner. But
so
yeah,
close there.
Just a great win there to start things off for Optic, but for eUnited, this is going to be an opportunity for them to get in the heads of the green wall on streets. We'll see if they could do it here, but it is going to be quite challenging considering how good APG has been for this team on Slayer game modes, and eUnited have to be aware of that.
Yeah, that was an interesting stat I believe you brought to me earlier, was saying how APG
Onset brought it to me, so I'll give him credit.
Brought to you. All right, you'll give credit.
I have no credit.
Say the stat one more time, though.
Yeah, basically, throughout all of Pro Series, APG had the highest KD of any Optic member for Slayers. So clearly performing at a like at another level in that mode.
Yeah, and that's
with Lucid and TriPPPeY
so
on your
notable to say, like, you know, how different a player like APG knows to play in objective versus Slayer. Saying, all right, well, yeah, I can have extra deaths. I can go near even as long as I'm doing the right trades, as long as I'm setting by my teammates in these objective games. But when it comes to Slayer, like you said, he has the highest KD ratio. He realizes how much more valuable a death is, or how much more valuable securing a kill is in certain scenarios.
Yeah, and then, you know, I know we keep bringing up Lucid TriPPPeY, but let's also not forget the setup man, the man himself, Pistola, who always likes to make other people look good. And I think that's part of the reason why this team is working so well. But I do wonder, though, like, because I feel like we're seeing a different Optic Gaming this event, just in their demeanor, the way that they're even playing, everything that they're doing. It doesn't feel like they're coming into this and like, we're Optic Gaming, we're you know, a popular team and everyone's gonna love us. No, they're coming into this, they want to win this damn thing. And I love that drive and attitude from them, and a great start there from Pistola to kick things off, but an instant response there from KingNick. See, though, this is actually exactly how I expected it to go. Kind of a back and forth with these two teams on this map.
And that was such an interesting start, too, from Ola, just being so aggressive, because I was going to say, when you push out towards that perp side, you could be very vulnerable to a couple angles. Someone either balcony or going towards little C stairs. And I would just assume rounding that corner, you're at a numbers disadvantage at the start of the game. But I wonder if that's just a smart play, because if you're at numbers disadvantage on that side, that means you likely have a higher likelihood of securing rockets or something in the center. So maybe it's just a numbers game there from Ola's side, or maybe it's just the confidence sitting in here on land where he's ready to go in, fight a fight, and win the 1v1.
Well, what's been really incredible to see is that the Rockets still have not been grabbed yet. Perhaps they're still up for grabs. So let's actually go over to the Optic Gaming side and do a listen-in with Optic to see how they can attain that power weapon, and most importantly, maybe for them, try and take this lead.
Yeah, let's go.
Just go quick,
going down main ramp.
Watch out cuts, Nick. Dead.
Nice shot. We have rockets.
Watch out bitches. Dead.
I rocketed you, I rocketed, my bad.
That's fine, 2 dead.
Up.
Where they spawning? Where they spawning?
Spawning market, careful. Block PD.
Ivy.
Yeah, just
Ivy right now.
Yeah, we have a rocket.
Yes, and I want
I
you
spawned
to-
market, guys. I literally spawned a fucking rocket.
Yeah, you guys go first.
Poppy, you're by yourself completely.
Already up.
One driveway, I think. Driveway for sure.
Driveway
Yep.
is thrust. I shot him twice.
Dead. No one but Commando.
I got hit by nade. I'm coming.
Brad is here. Just live, guys. Let Brad
Commando
push.
got 2 shots.
Pushing on purple now.
Nice. 2 dead.
2 dead, 2 dead.
One more reading.
Brad,
There's a thrust down.
No,
Drive,
We're here.
Sub, front sub, one shot.
Last 2 guys front sub.
More.
No one's there. They're spawning now.
Brad, I got a
Spawning. They're spawning PD.
Alright, you guys are all low. You guys are all
I'm
low.
pushing this guy.
Dead.
Is he still railing?
on me. Railing.
We're coming. We're pushing behind them.
Railing, so.
That whole setup was quite interesting from eUnited, because RyaNoob was chilling bottom steps at B, and they had the Rockets Optic Gaming. They were able to get a kill or 2 off of that, but they didn't really get to peel away with the lead here, which goes to show you like how eUnited play. They never really give those clear openings, and now eUnited have rockets, which could be big for them. Let's see how they play with this power weapon.
Yeah, and I believe that, that's interesting. They have this full rocket. A lot of times when you grab that rocket or acquire that,
Go for that
you're
first
going
shot.
you generally need to use one of those to get out of that bottom center area, like whether you're clearing out tires or whichever side you're running to. And look at just this awareness from the Optic side, realizing where they know where this rocket player likely is, and just bombarding Rayne with grenades.
Yeah, that actually is an awful place for those rockets to be, because it's awful for both teams, right? Now Optic do have the control on this side, and I don't know if anyone has gone to go and grab it yet. It was a fresh rocket. Nothing has been shot from that yet.
Such a smart spike grenade spot. I mean, that's just like an underutilized pillar in my eyes in that position. So I don't know if you could really use that effectively for frag grenades to anyone on the Perp Street side, but such a smart spot for the spikes.
And considering how much damage the spikers do as well, you don't want to push that at all. eUnited, though, do have the lead as they're up 21-20. If you're just joining us, Optic Gaming managed to win Recharge Oddball, scored 2-1. It was a bit of a shutout in round 3 for eUnited. Now they're looking to rally back here and make this into a series and tie this one up 1-1. And they're up by 3 kills now. Things seem to be working out very well for eUnited.
I'm also interested to see, like, how did those rockets end up playing out towards the end there?
Yeah.
I didn't really get to kind of keep a good track of them. But my guess is that they just ended up like trading kills for kills. Maybe there's some sort of scramble going on at the bottom of the stairs and someone grabs them, kills himself along with the opponent. But we didn't really see anyone grabbing those and pulling away in any fashion.
Okay, so Rockets are going to be up now. Spartan does have the Stalker. One player is going to be in the Overlook by B. I think there could be a challenge from the driveway, which is why they send someone to go and handle that. I think Lucid also wanted to make a play for those Rockets. Doesn't end up working out in the favor, and APG does not have a clean angle to challenge the Stalker rifle. But RyaNoob is going to be the one that obtains the power weapon there. Takes out Trippy with a grenade inside of tires, and the good times continue to roll on here for eUnited as they add on to their lead by 1. It was a 3-kill lead for them, now a 4-kill lead. So little by little, they're trying to peel away here from Optic.
And they're also just being a bit more passive than I expect out of this eUnited squad. So this must just be something that they've learned with their play style or as they practice Street Slayer, is they're in a situation where they get a couple kills and they're not just all flying across the map. Instead, they're saying, all right, well, let's continue to hold C during this setup. Yes, we have 2 of them dead, but we don't really have a great opportunity to trap them all in a certain spot. And God, I love that arcade music. I don't know how you feel about it, GB.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Also, it just always throws me off because, like, whenever I stream, I would play music in the background, and then I would hear that music, and then the music would be playing on top, layered on top of that, and I'm like, what's going on? My mind is, like, in a million directions right now. Speaking of a million directions, Lucid actually was able to get a nade and send that player flying, but now is it going to be what Optic needs to climb back into this as they're still going to be down by 3? They've been able to kind of, shave away at that gap that eUnited, the small gap that eUnited created with that 4-kill lead. But as long as eUnited just keep on trading, keep on getting the kills, it's going to look really, really good for the blue team here. And they could tie this series up on Streets if it keeps going. They're playing for one another as well, too. RyaNoob with great support, Spartan with great support there for RyaNoob. And this push that's coming out of B Street has been pretty successful thus far for
It looks all right, but I was just going to say, I saw so many members of eUnited all over on that B side. I like what Spartan's doing here. He's repositioning, saying, all right, we don't need another angle here over at this commando or towards above dumpster. Instead, he reverts over towards the left side of C near the stairs to try to help and support these rockets.
Oh, the cheeky grab from Lucid. He went in there, yoinked the rockets. But I think part of the reason why, Dave, was because they wanted to get control of B and tires to prevent Optic from being able to do literally the thing that they did. So the credit goes to Optic for forcing them out of that and not giving them the space to breathe. Maybe these rockets are going to be the start, the beginning of the end here for eUnited. One rocket goes off, but he gets no value out of that. And instead, eUnited, they just need to chill out because they know that Optic need to come at them.
Oh.
And I stand corrected.
What a rocket taking out that balcony spot. I was going to say that's such a difficult kill to get unless you have something like rockets, and that's going to be the collapse. That's all members of eUnited getting cleared out of C and B. And Optic are going to know what's up. They're going to say, all right, they're now spawning over towards A or towards PD. And the map is now flipped.
Yeah, we're basically where we started, but on opposite sides of the field.
The grass is always greener. Like I want the C setup. You guys can have the A.
Yeah.
You can have the A setup.
It was intentional. Yeah. But now, as eUnited look to get this win here, Optic with those rockets. And power weapons are always going to play that key role here. And the Stalker, we keep talking about it, is definitely a power weapon with just how strong it is. Bit of a tussle happening as well in the back by Tram APG, anticipating that this push is going to come through here, but that player decided to just GTFO. I was not going to be dealing with that whatsoever. And they'll go ahead and get a few more kills. And even with that great rocket play from Optic, even with them being able to get map control, flipping to spawns, eUnited still have that lead. And now it's even worse. It's a 5-kill lead for EU.
Yeah, this is just starting to get into a scary spot. Clearly, these rockets are necessary once again for Optic, but when they got them last time, I mean, the first one was underutilized. The second rocket was, I would argue, the rocket that broke the setup for eUnited, as we saw Lucid kind of flank through and get it. But
Correct, yeah.
as you said, it didn't really result in them gaining that big of a lead.
Man, you see how much damage that Stalker does? Jeez Louise. It just brought him down to near half HP. That's nuts. Lucid gets the rockets again. Kind of familiar territory. They're within striking distance of 3. One rocket could maybe bring them even closer. And there it is. Now Lucid's going to be on the push. Rayne knew that. He had no opportunity to be able to get away. The collapse could be coming from the right side too. TriPPPeY's going to be inside of PD, but Nick does manage to get the better of him. Here comes Lucid though. Around the mountain, here he comes. Does find Nick on the bat ledge too. All these players scattered around B, and they're not really given the angles for Optic to play around with.
No, and also the Optic members that were over on the B side and supporting and distracting are now gone. Lucid realizes the opportunity to flank and secure those kills is no longer there. Let's try to catch them off guard somewhere else, and looks like eUnited one step ahead here over at C, as they are also vying for control of C and the balcony.
A push comes in. TriPPPeY has to shut down Spartan 44-47. We've seen some glorious comebacks happen in Anaheim already. Could this be the case here? Only 2 more frags remaining for eUnited. It's been quite the game for these players. Everyone contributing at different points in the matchup. And again, it falls back to Optic to have to make this push happen. The 49th kill is going to be registered. One more top balcony perhaps as TriPPPeY goes for the challenge, but it does not work out in his favor. RyaNoob will be able to secure that last kill, and that is going to be eUnited tying up the series against Optic 1-1.
That is a massive victory there for eUnited, without doubt. Clearly, you don't want to go down 0-2 in that series, but
Nope.
It always felt like, too, that they never really gave up control of that map. Even in a situation where all 4 of them got cleared out, it was like, all right, they took down a couple Optic members with them. They felt just as comfortable holding the A side of the map and playing from that side, so it just felt like eUnited just were better at that game type.
You know, what's also interesting is that whenever we watch, you know, like top 16 teams going up against like a top 8 team, right? And we typically say like that Slayer can kind of be a swing game because, you know, those players are going to fly and they're going to be very aggressive. That was not the case here. This was a very measured and controlled game from eUnited. They had their hands on the steering wheel the whole time, and Optic were merely just trying to figure out how can they make them, you know, swerve off the road. And it just wasn't working out time and time again. So if anything, I do want to give credit to eUnited, and this kind of harkens back to what happened in game 1 with those controlled kind of planned pushes that they were trying to organize for Oddball, but they just weren't working out because, you know, players from Optic were kind of just going around flying willy-nilly and making the plays happen. So I think that, if anything, this just goes to show that when eUnited have control of the game, it is very hard for anyone else to wrestle it away from them.
Yeah, eUnited just looking so, like, also not just when you said controlled, it's like they're also so reserved, kind of opposite what we felt like we saw in Raleigh or like previous eUnited squads, where it just seems like, all right, eUnited, when they get control, get numbers, they're just flying across the map and continue to make it chaotic. This one just felt like they were slow and methodical. Yeah, and they're playing it so good.
And now this live fire Strongholds kind of opens this series up here, because if you recall from the analyst desk, and for those of you who were joining us at the beginning of that after the break, right, you know, there was this discussion about live fire. Like, eUnited have had some upper hand opportunities against Optic Gaming on live fire. Obviously, Strongholds is a, you know, can be a very swingy game mode depending on, you know, how things play out. So I do think eUnited actually setting themselves up for success here, and could potentially go up 2-1 in this series.
Very well, yeah. I mean, when I think of a lot of Spartan highlights, for some reason I think of live fire. I think of all these different flanks he's getting over at A Sandbags. I think of his pivotal Game 5 Slayer when we saw him in Raleigh getting the sniper over toward B Garage. It just felt like there's so many times where Spartan was just absolutely going off. And then even when we were looking at the highlight reel last night, or not last night, when we were looking at the highlight reel earlier before this match, we saw Rayne throwing those grenades towards shortcut. Just seemed like a lot of live fire, like, you know, highlights coming from the eUnited squad.
No troll, okay? I'm just being real. I feel like every time I go to Spartan stream, I'm seeing either play live fire or before the update, Behemoth. So I don't know. And hey, look, Behemoth made it on HCS broadcast. Anyway, so folks, now as Optic Gaming kind of have this conversation, figure out what they want to do here on live fire. We know it's going to come down to that initial start, Dave, and Optic have had more success in that department than eUnited have had. So I feel like at the start of this game, I'm really going to be focused on what is Optic's start going to look like, and how do they shut down eUnited right out of the break.
That's interesting because I think, yes, the start is important, but that's the piece I'm least concerned about for Optic. It seems like
for
Optic, it seems like they've done such a good job getting those starting strats. They've done a good job getting like those first camos, which we saw on Recharge. So not too worried about the start on Optic. It's more of like kind of what happens on after that, you know, for Optic.
Yeah, but also the question then is, well, what goes on with eUnited, right? Like how do they know that Optic have these planned, controlled starts? What do you do to try and counter that? It will be quite interesting, and we're going to be jumping to the game. I know you guys see Rayne. He will be sitting down in a moment, getting ready to go here. And hopefully everyone at home is enjoying the action of HCS Anaheim. So much more to come, and it's crazy to think this is just our second live event of the season. So many more events on the horizon, and we're so excited to have you join us for each and every one of those stops. And for those of you guys who are watching for those Twitch drops, you know, vaya con Dios. I hope you get what you need, you know, so that you can flaunt with your friends online. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a hard one. You know, the desk gets to do their predictions, right? It's fun to be a part of them. For this game, I think like if you're a betting person, you'd go Optic Gaming, right? But I feel like after game 2, man, like the scale has to be turning for eUnited.
It's so tough to tell with these rosters because, I mean, you think of eUnited versus Optic in Raleigh. You think of who had the higher placing. eUnited were in the grand finals.
Yeah.
Optic.
Isn't that crazy? Like, eUnited were in the grand finals, and then we're talking about them like, oh, yeah, no, they're probably going to lose. Like, the whole desk.
Yeah, they're not as, for some reason, by us on the desk and such, we don't seem to find them as favored, and maybe that's true because of how they performed in pool play. You know, they didn't have as dominant performance. They lost to KCP in pool play. There are reasons as to why we don't see them coming through as strong, at least as strong of a start.
Yeah.
Now, it's all about how they finish in this tournament. And I still believe in them. They clearly just showed on streets how they have this new methodical playstyle, which I kind of, you know, we try to categorize these teams like, oh, this one plays slow, this one plays fast. And this is game number 3 just kicking off right now. Well,
yeah.
We're jumping in, so I'll just stop rambling.
Yeah, no map fly-throughs for us here, folks. We're into the action, baby. And it's going to be eUnited getting B right out of the gate and flipping this A as well. So they'll gladly give up C to Optic as we are preparing for the power items to come up here in a moment. Overshield's available in 2 seconds. Saw some actually really nice plays for how to, like, this area right here, this pillars area is so pivotal, and Optic were actually the ones that I was really liking how they were playing around this, and eUnited were prepared for it. A great response.
1-on-1 for this OS. 3 members were down for each team. It is a Rayne versus Lucid 1v1, but looks like the reinforcements from eUnited are here. They're pushing for this overshield, but nothing's been acquired yet. They are just trading kill after kill. That's 3 down for eUnited again. And Lucid is going to push over and flank over towards A and go for a cap.
Yeah, and I don't know if RyaNoob's ready for this one as soon as he comes through. Ola does manage to obtain the overshield as well. It's going to be around half here as eUnited has to fight out of this back B setup that they have currently. They have no other choice. Optic with the trim cap, catching up in the scoreboard. It was a great start for eUnited, but even better for Optic, and they managed to hold off that push from eUnited, the second push to get the power items and power weapons.
It was just, that was all the cascading effects from getting that overshield and that overshield fight. You know, all these teams and players just fighting over that one spot, and Optic Gaming coming out ahead. We saw the Slays coming out through that. We saw Ola grabbing the OS. We saw Lucid pushing immediately towards A, blocking the spawns, capturing the stronghold, and then they just collapsed on B. They weren't satisfied with that. They realized that they didn't want to hold A and C for an extended period of time. Instead, they'd rather hold this B stronghold.
So I think eUnited got the call that they would rather want to focus on this OS here, right? Give up the points. It's still going to be very early in the game. And they also know, because you have to hear that Pistola was just chucking grenades over at that garage doorway here. Rayne with the overshield loses the overshield, though, so you don't get much value out of that. But they are going to start capping B. So all that attention they put on OS has benefited them as they are now back in control of 2.
Can we highlight what that's going to look like on the stat screen? all that's going to look like for APG when we recite these stats layers, that's the stats for APG.
Yeah.
APG put in 4 bursts, got a melee, took down all of his OS, and did all that damage to just get a assist and a death on that.
Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, when you really think about it, though, right, like, it's not the end of the world for them because of the way that they play off of that. I mean, they drain, drain the power
That's
item.
the correct play.
That's the way
I'm
to
just
go.
saying it just shows how skewed stats can be
Oh,
sometimes.
for sure. Yeah, it's
where
like
it
what
just
is a
shows-
valuable kill versus what's not a valuable kill, right? Yeah, no, you're so right there, Dave. Like, it's oftentimes, and don't get me wrong, right, stats do tell a story, and I'm sure Gaskin has a million of them to share with everyone, which is great because that's what we want. But there's also, because it kind of goes back to that conversation we were having earlier about how Halo, you know, is a game of just these macro decisions that are happening so fast that you have to constantly be prepared for all the adjustments you need to make. And yeah, man, that's just the beauty of this game in a nutshell. But for Spartan in the back of the river, he actually ended up getting the kill though. So that was a confirmed shot against Trippy. I think that may have been someone else getting the shot, but it doesn't matter though because they're going to clear out those players to still hold B and C.
Doesn't matter, but one other piece that I really like there that happened against Sparty was how I believe it was APG just doubling back and getting that melee. Just those small nuanced differences and movements that you see these players make, like faking like they're running away and just doubling back, trading in that melee, and getting in so much damage per life.
OS is going to be up for grabs. Oh, no. Oh, that is unfortunate. He got the tag on Lucid. Now he's going to be fresh. I think that shot may be confirmed, though.
Pretty sure that landed.
If it didn't, then I'm calling shenanigans, Tashi. But RyaNoob looking to go for a cheeky jump as well here. He did not. Okay, there it is. So it did actually clear through. They do get the flip, but a lot of points have been gained here for EU.
Dude, I still can't hit that jump yet. I have not been practicing Shyway jumps, and yeah, it's
my hands are too dumb and too old, so I'm not even gonna bother. I watched a video. I was like, oh great, Shyway just put on another video for a jump I can't do. This is I'm so glad. Like and subscribe. You know, kills me inside every time.
I feel the same way with Shyway videos too. It's like, all right, boys, I got a new in-depth strategy. Like, I have not, you know, passed course 101 of Shyway's jump and sliding courses. Yeah. I'm not ready for a 400 level class and lecture here on the next evolution of this. Like, let me get through the basics and foundational elements first.
Yeah, to just go on a quick tangent real fast. I was watching, because Wonder Boy, our friend, we love you, Harry, put out a video as well, and then he said, like, and it's very easy to do. And I see him do it in one try, and I was like, I'm going to load it up in custom game and try and do it. I could not at all. So, yeah, that's why everything you see from these players, like what they manage to pull off, it is so freaking impressive. And you think it's simple, but it truly is not. And that just is the complexities of Halo and why we all love this game so much. But I think Optic is loving this game right now, too, because they've managed to come back into the lead here. It was getting a little dicey for Optic at a moment, but now eUnited, they kind of gave this one up. And, I actually saw APG, 10 assists though, so he's contributing so much, but even with not a lot of kills, they're still doing the work.
And we've been critical before, whether it's right or not, of who's putting up the kills, who's putting up the numbers here on the Optic squad, and Ola stepping up here in game number 3 with the most kills for his team, and that is only Ola's 4th death. So doing so much work there during the run from Optic Gaming.
And another overshield, Lucid with the sniper to boot too. He was waiting for that jump. He wanted him to challenge so bad, and RyaNoob, he was actually, oh, surprise!
That's like the one spot he wasn't expecting. You know, he was ready for back C tower. He assumed the bridge was coming over again, but did not expect the flank to come through from B pillars all the way through the basement to the dummies.
You never expect that play to happen. He was looking like a player that was very confident that there was no soul there at all. Little did he know. Oh, that is unfortunate, but fortunate, though, for eUnited as they've been able to get control of the map again. B and C will be the hold here. The push is going to be coming out of Garage, and there's no one around B, but this looks like a retake opportunity here more so for eUnited because they realize they might not win this one outright.
One thing that happened there, as I saw those kills, or that kill go down in KingNick, is I was like, all right, like that could be, you know, kills are always a good thing.
Yeah.
However, they had 2 players down in the yard underneath the B bridge, and that's not a good position. Like, you either have to go for a jump that we both talked about, Golden Boy, that we can't do, but you're also going to be in a spot that you don't really have great routes. Yes, you go to B pillars, maybe you go to back C, but you're not going to be anywhere anytime soon, and we saw those collapsing effects from eUnited just collapsing, gain all those kills, using their high advantage, and continuing to hold control.
Yeah, it is a unique hold that we're getting here because it has been a lot of retaking from eUnited. And now I wonder if that is the game plan or if it's because Optic are forcing him in those positions, right? Because they've done it out 2 times now, and one time it worked, the other time it didn't work, so we'll see how they try and get control of this again here as Optic now adds to their score.
Quick note, as I was tallying up the kills / deaths real quick, it's basically dead even. It was 1 kill difference at just a moment ago, but the objective efficiency was in the favor of eUnited. So it's one of those things that once you control and once you have the strongholds, you can just trade for kills and you're going to come out ahead in the points.
By the way, this was a great spawn for Optic. They actually got a split, 2 players back tower, and then they ended up having 2 more players, I think, out in the open field by the overshield. So they were like, yeah, go ahead, United, go ahead and take B control. We'll go ahead and have that. We'll take C instead.
Look at that play by Rayne. I mean, it was good, but it was not good enough as he's able to take Lucid, but not going to be able to chip away at Ola's overshield. So about the best you can do at some points when you have to plant up or post up back at B.
I think the response from eUnited too was beautiful, right? It looked like it was doom and gloom for eUnited, but instead they let Optic have that idea of safety and comfort, and then just went right for the play, like jumped on it like sharks to the to the blood in the water, right? I don't know. I would never be in the ocean. Never catch me dead there. But, I think this has just been a beautiful game from both teams. But now for Optic Gaming, if they continue on like this with the trip cap, this is going to be quite scary for eUnited. They have to stop the bleeding right here, right now. Pistola, though, on a killing spree. 1 more target, a double kill for the legend. He's got another one right in front of him, too, but he's going to wait for his health to come back. The call has been made. He's going to be...
And he's got a flank from APG. This is going to be a kill over on C, and now they can double cap it if needed. But Ola just doesn't dive right in. Instead, his spidey sense is going off, knows someone's over towards top center, and they are just starting to put the pressure here on eUnited. This game is flipping around, Golden Boy.
Yeah, I genuinely have no idea who's going to walk away with this win because of how this game has been playing out. Back and forth, through and through, exactly what you want to see. This next overshield is going to be quite pivotal, and that's why Pistola's posturing for it here. He's waiting, 5 seconds left on the clock for that OS. RyaNoob goes in for the challenge with the heat wave, and he's got support there from his teammates, but is anyone there from Optic Gaming to help him out so that they can get that power item as A is being captured?
One of you may at home might be wondering why RyaNoob ran away from OS after getting those kills. RyaNoob did his part. At this point, he was getting hunted down. He did damage over there, so he can't just sit at shortcut and jump on that overshield. Instead, he would just gotten killed. So I like that flank. He repositions himself all the way towards A, is a new threat, not unsuspecting player, and helps put the stop on that stronghold.
I don't think this is the setup that eUnited wanted to see here because they have no time to be able to break this. They got to get in the beat right here, right now. Lucid wants to shut this one down, though. The drop of the Mangler is going to be clean, and that, folks, is going to be the game as Optic Gaming go up 2-1. But what a fight from eUnited. Went down to the wire. Small micro decisions could have gone in eUnited's favor, and I'm sure that they're going to go back to the VOD and review all of that after this event is done, because that very well could have been eUnited's game.
Yeah, that was just so difficult. I mean, it's neck and neck the entire time, but we did see those ladder overshields going in the favor of Optic Gaming. I believe we saw at least 2 in the hands of Ola. We saw the very last one going in the hands of Lucid, and what we were talking about before was like near even slaying game. Turned out to be in the favor of Optic. I believe when I last saw the kills at the end, it was 6 or 7 kills in the favor of Optic Gaming.
Yeah, good fragging from Optic there, and that's actually quite the interesting stat. A 4-1 record, Optic on Strongholds Live Fire in Pro Series. So, and I think that...
Oh, that's also an interesting stat too, the 32.2 captures per game ranked first, meaning that maybe Optic aren't one of these squads that just sits on a couple captures and ends up being passive.
Yeah,
they're willing to trade a bit more. They're like, all right, you want to take C? We'll take A then. All right,
yeah,
you want to take B?
Look at that game.
Yeah,
that was constantly happening.
So they seem to be maybe, based on that limited stat we have right there, they could be the team that rotates the most during Strongholds.
Great game, though, man. Couldn't ask for anything
Here's
better.
that melee. I love that melee right there. Just those little additions of damage add up so much for these teams at the highest level of play.
And you always got, in most cases, someone looking at you to support you, right? These guys have the awareness, like at all times. They fully understand where everyone is in relation to their own positioning.
Also, the thing that's just so brilliant there when I saw that repulsor over at B is that these players can actually time and avoid these melees here on land versus online. Sometimes it's just not possible. Yeah, you just can't really gauge the distance difference. Like, people are still going to hit those lunges. They're going to still get registrations that, you know, are just going to be a factor of online play. But on land here, so perfect. They can just time those, make people whiff melees, make people miss shots. It's brilliant.
Now wonder what happens here on Aquarius CTF, because eUnited, we saw on Streets the way that they can control the map, but Aquarius is a different type of map. You don't have those clean cross-map opportunities. You don't have the, it's not like, you know, midship where, you know, you can support from bases over to P side or to car side like too well. You can, but it's not like the best.
Yeah, it's not the exact same. I agree with you there, Golden Boy. However, I was going to say, based on the game modes we saw thus far, which is like, you know, Recharge, we saw Live Fire, I would say this map, Aquarius, does play more similar to Streets than those other two. I mean, they're not very comparable.
You're right.
With, you know, kind of like those lanes, those alleys, a little slower play, maybe posting up somewhere, laying some damage, pushing together. So this is looking good, I would say, for eUnited, just on like those observations of overall play style. But it's also just tough to say. I mean, Aquarius, CTF is just going to be a game type that literally every single team and player here is going to be so comfortable and familiar with. It's the most true to past Halos as far as one of the most arena-style maps. It's most similar to something like Midship, as you alluded to. So every single team player is not going to, like, there's not going to be a player that's bad on this map.
Yeah, besides myself. I'm just absolute butt cheeks at this, and I'm sure many of us at home feel the same way. But here we go, folks. This is it. For Optic Gaming, they'll move on in the bracket. eUnited, if they lose here, will be sent down to the elimination bracket. Not out of the competition quite yet, but you know, it has not been the weekend that I'm sure they were hoping for. But I'm not, in no way, shape, or form do I think this is going to be a gimme here for Optic. And Ola managed to just squeak right by and get that camo. Just a crafty lot that he is.
Yeah, and such a brilliant finish off there. I guess he assumed RyaNoob was one shot first off, realized he didn't get the one-shot finish, and drops down just to avoid any further damage in top center. And Ola just going to sneak on in and go 1 for 1, unfortunately. But that's not what you want to be doing with your camo. You don't want to be playing defense with a camouflage. You want to be on the offense. You want to be pushed into the enemy lines. Ola forced in a defensive position there that last time.
Rayne will be the furthest pushed out inside of util, yellow side util. That pistol, man, because that rate of fire is just nasty. If you get up close, you have so much control with it.
Yep, and Rayne's just playing this position perfectly. When you're fighting anyone in that doorway, your goal is just to get some damage, and you need to stay alive there. You do not need to finish off your own kills unless someone comes into util. You should have backup from someone top center or someone across the map that can pick off any players that do not enter back into util.
Yeah, I think that is a credit to Optic for, even though they had to deal with Rayne inside of their own utility, they were still in eUnited's face the entire time. But with 2 players down, this could be an opportunity now for EU to start to make this push happen here. KingNick, though, dangerously low. Players off the spawn. A little bit of a mental reset here. Losing RyaNoob could potentially hurt for this push, and they know that with RyaNoob down, maybe that is going to be a Optic Gaming push inside of util, which is why Nick was prepared for that. And I actually kind of like the idea of taking the pistol and holding it for those doors, because you can just spam that gun so fast.
Yeah, pretty much any weapon you grab out of the sandbox has its positional utility, and almost every single one of these guns too, like, ends up working out just fine in close range. And so even when I think of something like Stalker Rifle, not ideal. It's, you know, more perfect for something like long range, but you're gonna beat out a battle rifle if you just hit your shots. And these players are so good that they feel confident hit their shots with like the pistol or the commando in close range situations.
A big trade there for eUnited. Is gonna have to force APG to play defensively here. You got 2 guys located on the left side in their utility. APG is preparing. He knows that the push could end up coming, and I think EU, they got to play off of this. They have to make this push happen, but they need someone to be in a position to support them.
But here's what Optic's strategy is they're going to have somebody just hold the util side of their base, not let anyone push into their flag while they push out on the ping side. They say, all right, why fight a losing battle into util and run right into their hand? Instead, make them come to us. Pushing out of util onto the flag when you don't have someone weak is not as comfortable of a position.
They know that one more is still going to be around here. And there you go. It's going to be Nick. trying to stay up, gets the kill. RyaNoob actually gets the kill on APG. Flag has been attempted for a pull here. Lucid does have the mark on a target up top as well. Their flag's going to be out too, and there's a lot that Lucid had to do there.
So much he had to do, but also I love that target switching. He's just giving so much credit to eUnited, saying, all right, if I start shooting player A, player B is going to start shooting at me. And so he's going back and forth saying, all right, I'm going to shoot a shot Spartan, and expect this player on our flag to be helping Spartan out. So Lucid had the right idea, and in many cases, you're going to take advantage of teams poking out at those exact moments, but did not work out in that instance.
Yeah, there was just too much for him to do there, and eUnited had every single box ticked before they made that flagpole happen. They're going to go up 1-0 in Game 4 of this series, trying to force to Game 5. We will be going to Bazaar Slayer if eUnited can get the dub here today. No support from RyaNoob. He just had to wait this one out. He has to actually stay alive and focus on the player. Actually give him a lot of credit for putting damage on that player up front and then worrying about the player that was in front of him. Just that micro decision making that RyaNoob's so good at making here. A challenge going to come through. The support there will be present. Rayne gets the kill, but cross map, it's going to be Lucid with that flag. And Optic Gaming tie this one up 1-1 on Aquarius.
Yeah, such a huge run there from Optic Gaming. And like you said, also great damage control from RyaNoob and the United squad. Many players put themselves in a do-or-die situation saying, all right, I'm going to die, protect this flag, or I'm going to get the kill and it's going to be stopped. And no, there's sometimes middle ground. You can sometimes let them get the flag, but still get a kill or two on your side and prevent them from getting some sort of double cap or having them have control after they capture the flag. It's a 5-cap game, Golden Boy. You don't need to make it all happen on that first cap.
Yeah, it's right. Everyone always tries to force the issue, but the top players, right, they'll only do it if they know without a doubt that they have that coverage, that they have that opportunity to do so here. eUnited. There was a toss of the flag down low to try and just pull some attention over there, and it worked out very well for Optic, is now they're going to be collapsing inside of the eUnited base, bringing this one over to the blue side. A very smart play inside of util to the top, perhaps, as well. And do they have bodies over by planners? It seems like they do, and so far, so good here.
They seem mostly fine, however, they're going to meet some resistance here. I would like to see Lucid not go across the bridge. Instead, run it towards the back ramp if he's feeling too much pressure. Instead, he does go across the bridge, and you know what? Maybe Lucid knows a little bit more about Halo than me, Golden Boy, as he caps that second flag for Optic Gaming.
You made a right call, though. You said if he wasn't feeling the pressure, and there wasn't really anyone there to try and stop him at that moment in time. Yeah, sure, he was taking some damage, and naturally people are going to look over there. But he had the right idea, went for the capture. It worked out very well for them. Now APG in yet another position in the back of the enemy base, putting shots on players, grabbing power items, thinking that they're free, and he's just going to live around here until eUnited do something about him.
Charges right through the grenade, knowing that if there's a player in there that's weak or one shot, take the nade and still hit the shots, you win the fight.
Lucid with camo and heat wave, a deadly combo. See Spartan. Does he go for the shot? Okay, yeah, he's going to go for it. Why not? The calls have been made, but he's got himself in a brilliant spot here. Rayne's camo eyes were simply not going to be good enough, unfortunately, for him. And this is kind of going back to what you said at the beginning of the game there, Walsh, where this is exactly the situation you want to have your camo player in the face of your enemy.
Yeah, and I don't know how they still got the kill on APG there. Somehow from the fridge side of the map, it looks like eUnited were able to pick off that flag runner, run towards util, and I would say that flag run is done.
Yeah.
What seemed to be a near guaranteed cap in my eyes, or at least the flag going all the way back towards the Optic Gaming side of the map, was stopped in its tracks. I would love to see how that was stopped some point later on.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to try this one again. 2-1, Optic with the lead. eUnited doing everything that they can to try and fend off the attack here from Optic, as they'll be in the back of their base. eUnited with bodies over here on car side continues to make this push happen. And a good call there, right? Heard the shields coming up, popped the shots immediately. And this is going to be a smattering of kills back and forth. No one really having the advantage quite yet. But eUnited, I like the fact they got Rayne all the way over here, and he's going to have some help and assistance. It works out very well for him.
And look at, as we go through both these teams' POVs and perspectives, the main focal point for both these squads is the util. They want to get control of the util and then push in the flag and then run it back that way. Every single flag we've seen run thus far is util side. Even across the map, as Rayne's looking at his own flag being taken away, is being taken towards the util side.
Yeah, it's such a great area to have that flag in, or at least for Optic, that seems to play right into their style, into their game plan. eUnited stopped that flagpole from happening, but yet another camouflage grabbed for Optic, and it's Lucid who has possession of that again.
I want to see him get aggressive with it. I like this, helping his team clear out all these pesky members from eUnited there, just scurrying around and getting in his base. Look at that, just exterminating all these players, killing out Car 2, 2 players in the bomb front courtyard in very unorthodox positions, not just the power positions. Like, Lucid would love to just go top center and fight someone top pink or top car. Instead, he has to get his hands dirty. He has to go down in the courtyards and get those kills.
Yeah, and get those kills he certainly did here. TriPPPeY as well is going to join him, but around the corner, there will be a target there. RyaNoob got a little dicey for a moment. Flag is being pulled by eUnited. They brought it halfway over. Rayne's got the clearance, perhaps. They have to clear out this player inside a utility to tie this one up 2-2. 2 players are going to be located coming into the utility room. A lot of work is going to be left to Rayne here to try and fend off the attack. Flag's going to be located down low. Does Rayne have an opening to go and grab it? It seems like he's right there, and RyaNoob's trying to be a nuisance on the side. Does get the flag, brings it up. Nobody's on the jump up, so that's halfway there.
I was going to say, jump up's probably not the right play there. I think you need to just go straight for stairs. You're already such a sitting target there as you're in that front spot, so get it back towards a safer spot in the base. Looks like RyaNoob's going to have to go to the bridge, and we got ourselves a tie game, Golden Boy.
We're all knotted up here on Aquarius CTF. Neither team wants to be sent to the elimination bracket. eUnited had a rough start yesterday, dropping to the Pioneers. It was quite the series. It went to Game 5 as well, and that is where the discussion from the desk starts to come into your mind there, right? The clutch factor. Optic, they're 6 for 6 on their clutches. eUnited have a little bit more success here, but you know Optic are not thinking about that in the back of their mind. They just want to end this series, right? And maybe this flagpole could be it.
Yep, as you said, since we're tied up here, everything's just, we're back to even. But it does seem like the game is quite different at this moment. There's a lot more chaos in these final minutes than we were seeing early on. We're now seeing positions where teams have control of each other's utils. They're pulling flags before they have full control across the map. It's just, these teams are, I don't want to say panicked, but these teams are really feeling the pressure and trying to play out how they want to, you know, fight against their opposing opponents.
Oh my God!
What a play, a bait, but
I was like confused.
I felt like he should have been fighting right away. If you have your teammate fighting on the flag, you need to do it immediately. And here's one of those situations again, Golden Boy. Both flags being pulled out for both teams, but eUnited coming out ahead in those scrappy situations.
Oh, is anyone going to be able to take out Rayne here? It's Lucid. He stops him in his tracks, gets himself another kill. RyaNoob's got to go huge. Big kill there from RyaNoob. One more is going to be located by the flag. He goes for the touch on the flag, but it's not going to be enough. Bodies are going to be located. RyaNoob can't grab the flag in time, and the flag will get returned. We have 1 minute left on the clock here in this very intense game.
And in that chaotic situation, somehow Ola gets a flag recovery, gets a flag pull, and the battle continues over on the util sides of the map.
If it does go to OT, we'll reset, and first flag cap wins. As far as stats go, Lucid is having one hell of a game, 23 and 15. But look at TriPPPeY and those assists, the way he's setting up his teammates, 14 and 19. That is unreal on the assist column from TriPPPeY. But they're going to be inside of the Optic base here, Walsh.
I would argue that this is likely eUnited's last flag pull attempt right here. You know, if Optic gets a few of the kills here, they might get one last chance to get a pull, but both these teams maybe one last chance. Looks like RyaNoob opts to not even go for a pull, tries to go back towards center of the map and just get kills and go into overtime.
Yeah, I feel like OT is going to be inevitable here as no one's able to get inside of the base. All 4 down players not in position for Optic because they had to respond to the attack from eUnited. And we are tied going to overtime. First flag cap wins. If Optic win, they will be moving on in the bracket. If eUnited win, we're going to a Game 5 Bazaar Slayer.
And look at this focus on the util side. 3 members of Optic Gaming pushing towards the util. And yes, gain control of car is big, but my guess is they're trying to get control of those dino nades, and looks like Ola getting hit with that first sizzle stick, and eUnited are going to know he's weak over there.
The sizzle sticks are so powerful to control. Unfortunately, Nick had absolutely no idea that Pistola was going to be lingering about. This could be the camouflage that wins Optic the game here. Great coverage as well. Spartan can't get away in time, and a double kill for the Wizard.
And look at how Ola knows the times where he needs to be sneaky with the camo and times where he just needs to lay down shots. He doesn't need to run over and get a back smack on a player. If his teammates are fighting, Ola is fighting with them and matching firepower.
He's getting a lot of info as well, and sending the dynamo grenade in the back is going to, tickle a few of the players that are hiding back there and open up an opportunity for Optic to make this push happen, just like as you're seeing right there. I mean, I don't even think that Pistola was prepared for that, but it worked out in his favor, and now they're going to be inside of the eUnited base. EU needs to respond and get out of this because they are in quite the pickle here.
This is a difficult situation, and this is going to be such a pivotal moment here for Optic. They need to get any of these kills and pull this flag. And on the flip side, as you said, for United, nice bank shot there from TriPPPeY to get that kill, get the double. And he just tosses one out towards Bazaar. Does not feel like his team has the control it needs.
Triple!
That's 3 down, though. TriPPPeY's going to grab that flag and get the kills. He's doing it all and potentially going to seal the deal here for Optic Gaming here in game number 4.
TriPPPeY's at the halfway mark. Nades are going to start flying in, but he's got the coverage, he's got support, and he's going to wait this one out. He's right there, and he's going to slide this one in 3, 2, 1, and that is going to do it. GG's. Optic Gaming move on, and eUnited gets sent to the elimination bracket. But what a series between those two teams.
That was incredible. And yes, that was the correct play to do there. And I want all my future teammates in random matchmaking to know, yes, if we have 3 of them down, I don't care where you're at right now. Go grab that flag, run it back. Look at what TriPPPeY did. TriPPPeY did it. TriPPPeY's winning matches. He's going on to the semifinals here of HCS Anaheim.
You're asking for a lot, Dave.
I am asking
You're
a lot,
asking for way too much.
I'm just asking them to grab the flag.
I know.
They just don't grab the flag enough.
Oh, man. Well, what a series for Optic. eUnited, a difficult one for them, without a doubt, right? I think that they felt that there were multiple times where they had that opening, they had that opportunity to get the win, but just Optic's ability to really, I guess, take the small things that they have and turn those into big advantages. They're so good at that. And now as they march forward in this bracket, Optic, they very clearly are threats, but eUnited, I think they have maybe shaken off some of the issues that they were having from yesterday, because this felt like a completely different team. Again, not to take anything away from Pioneers, but this felt like a different team than what we saw on Friday.
Yeah, I felt like we saw a more powerful eUnited today than we did in pool play. But yeah, it still just goes to show it did feel like Optic were just, they edged them out every single time. It felt like they were so close through so many games, but Optic would come out ahead because as we took glimpses throughout this game, we were like, all right, the Strongholds on live fire. We saw them up, 180 to 140 as they're even in slays. So it felt like all those games were more than within United's reach. In fact, it was some games they almost lost.
Yeah, and that stings for eUnited without a doubt. But Optic Gaming, though, as they march forward in the winner bracket, is this the team that you feel like is prepared to win it all? Because they're playing with that kind of FU attitude that they need to have, especially if you go up against Cloud9.